Did you ever had that eerie feeling that someone or something was watching you? You're not alone. Before we uncover the terrifying truth, like this video and comment your location. Let's step into the shadows together. I was 23 when it happened, and even now, it sends chills down my spine whenever I think about it. The summer after college graduation, I decided to take a solo road trip across the country, from New York to California. It was supposed to be my last hurrah before entering the real world of 9-to-5 jobs and responsibilities. The first few days were uneventful, filled with the excitement of newfound freedom and the open road. But as I entered the vast, empty stretches of Nevada, things took a turn I never could have anticipated. It was nearing dusk, and I had been driving for hours without seeing another soul. The desert landscape stretched endlessly on either side of the highway, broken only by the occasional scrub brush or rocky outcropping. My eyelids were growing heavy, and I was considering finding a place to pull over for the night when I saw him. A lone figure stood on the side of the road, thumb outstretched. In any other circumstance, I would have driven right past. My parents had drilled into me the dangers of picking up hitchhikers, but something about this man made me slow down. Maybe it was the desperation in his posture, or the fact that I hadn't seen another car for miles. Whatever it was, I found myself pulling over. As I rolled down my window, the man approached. He was older, probably in his 60s, with weathered skin and eyes that seemed to have seen too much. "Where are you headed?" I asked, trying to keep the nervousness out of my voice. "Just up the road a ways," he replied, his voice gravelly and low. "Mind if I hop in?" Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door. The man slid into the passenger seat, and immediately, the temperature in the car seemed to drop several degrees. I suppressed a shiver and pulled back onto the highway. We drove in silence for a few minutes before the man spoke. "You shouldn't be on this road," he said, staring straight ahead. I glanced at him, confused. "What do you mean?" He turned to look at me, and in the fading light, his eyes seemed to glow with an eerie intensity. "This road isn't safe after dark. Strange things happen out here in the desert, things that can't be explained." I laughed nervously, trying to shake off the unease that was creeping up my spine. "Come on, man, you're just trying to scare me." But the old man didn't laugh. Instead, he leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Listen to me, kid. In about 10 miles, you're going to come to a fork in the road. No matter what you see, no matter what you hear, do not take the left fork. You understand me?" Doctor, not take the left fork. The intensity in his voice made me grip the steering wheel tighter. "Why? What's down the left fork?" The old man shook his head. "You don't want to know. Just promise me you'll take the right fork." I nodded, more to appease him than anything else. Okay, right fork, got it." We lapsed into silence again, the only sound the hum of the tires on the asphalt and the whisper of the wind outside. I kept glancing at the odometer, watching the miles tick by. 8 miles, 9 miles. Just as we hit the 10-mile mark, the old man spoke again. "This is my stop. Remember what I said." I slowed the car, pulling over to the side of the road. The man got out without another word, and as I watched him in my rearview mirror, he seemed to vanish into the gathering darkness. Shaking off the encounter, I continued driving. Sure enough, about a half-mile later, I came to a fork in the road. And that's when things got weird. The left fork looked wrong. The air above it seemed to shimmer and distort, like a mirage. And coming from that direction, I could hear something. It wasn't quite music, wasn't quite voices, but it called to me. It promised adventure, excitement, things beyond my wildest dreams. My hands seemed to move of their own accord, turning the wheel towards the left fork. The rational part of my brain screamed at me to stop, to remember the old man's warning. But the pull was so strong. At the last second, I wrenched the wheel to the right, tires squealing as I narrowly made the turn onto the right fork. As I sped away, I glanced in my rearview mirror. For just a moment, I thought I saw something emerging from the left fork. Something huge and dark, with too many limbs and too many eyes. I drove through the night, not stopping until I reached the next town. When I finally pulled into a motel parking lot, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn off the ignition. To this day, I don't know what would have happened if I had taken the left fork. But sometimes, in my dreams, I see that shimmering road, hear that unearthly music, and I wake up in a cold sweat, grateful for the warning of a mysterious old hitchhiker